How's everybody doing today? You're watching Slot Car Mayhem. I'm John, and this will be episode 15 of the Glendale 65. And this will be a point of this is where we're at, and this is where we need to go to achieve our next milestone, which is terraforming and landscaping. So let's go through things one by one so you have a mental list of what I need to accomplish, and I have that same mental list as well. Also, a lot of things are going to happen at the same time, but different things going on at once, and the video uploads might seem to be relatively sporadic at this point with very little direction or anything else, and that's because a lot of things are going to be happening at one time and running in parallel. So I want to make sure that everybody understands what's going on, why I'm doing it, and certain things have to be done in certain orders. And we'll go through and explain all that. So let's walk the track, take a look, and see what we have. Okay, one of the first things I need to do is what I refer to as clearing the layout. I've got to get everything off or relocated that's not part of the track itself. In this case, the wireless secondary devices that I'm using, the keyboard, the mouse, all that, will be located to a race director's podium, which I'm in the process of final design now. And since everything is wireless, it's not a big deal. The station itself will probably live right here, just so I can have easy access if I'm working the layout and I'm down here by myself running cars. I want to have easy access to everything, that's fine. But come race day, it can be moved over there, can be moved over there in the corner, doesn't matter. Anywhere the race director will have a good view of the layout as a whole, unobstructed, and can watch everything unfold and be able to react accordingly. So that's the one thing we've got to accomplish. The other thing we've got to do is we've got to get the charging stations for the wireless controllers. These also need to be relocated, just like I did the control unit here. Controllers 1 and 2 will live right here in this drawer. 3 and 4 will live right here, and 5 and 6 in that drawer over there. And this drawer here will remain as it sits right now for the remotes or anything else I may need. So getting the layout cleared is important so I can complete the infill outfill process and get that accomplished. So I need to get everything else off the layout. Another thing about the wireless charging stations, I'm toying with the idea of incorporating a switch somewhere on a control panel, probably mounted right here, that I can just hit a button, and instead of being powered from the control unit, I'll have an additional power source to go ahead and get these things charged just at a flick of a switch, deciding what I want to do. And that way, if I want to charge up all my wireless controllers, I don't have to rely on the control unit, and I don't have to change out that 20-minute timeout, because I do rely on that a lot. I just let the 20-minute timeout do its thing. I don't want to have to change it. So I'd like to have manual control over being able to charge my wireless stations without any issue. Okay, one of the next steps, and actually this is probably going to be a video that's going to come out probably, if not the next one, it'll probably be the video after that, very, very soon. But that's going to be the modification of the pit lane entrance that's dedicated only for the safety car. And I'm going to modify this to dedicate it just for the safety car, and we'll take you through that process. The reason why I need to do it is I've got the track set up with specific lane changers for drivability and to enhance the driving and racing experience, and it does not allow currently in its format for safety car usage, because it will not automatically return here. It will come back to the main pit, but not to the pit that it's dedicated to. So I'll make those changes and get that done, and that will allow full functionality of the safety car from where it's supposed to be. And following that, I can go ahead and I can start getting my yoga mat laid out and underneath the track. And this is a really good insulation that I'm going to be putting under the track, and that's going to help keep everything nice and quiet and avoid a lot of clickety-clack. So, you know, of course all the track will have to come up, and then I'll go ahead and get this stuff glued down, put into place, and then I can set my track into place and make sure it's where I want it again. And at that point I can go ahead and proceed. Something else that I'm going to have to get done probably sooner than later, that's going to involve the overhead lighting. And the reason why I need to get it done sooner than later is I'm probably going to have to remove some of the back sections of track so I have better access, so I can get the rear section of the lighting put into place. That still needs to be done. I've been waiting until I've done my experimentation with lighting so I know exactly what I need to do. So the rear lighting needs to go into place. And another change I'm going to need to make is the front section of lighting is going to need to come out another 2 feet. And the reason why is most of these verticals here, these vertical faces that I have sitting here up in front, and I imagine some people have wondered why I've had these here, and the reason why is so I could simply test the lighting. Well, these are directly under the light here in front that's coming straight down, and therefore without the other exterior lighting that I'm using for the filming, generally there's a lot of shadow here in the front. So what I need to do, and I've experimented with it and it works fine, is move the front row of lighting out another couple feet and bring my light down at more of an angle, and that brings a lot more life to this front area of the track and really pulls everything through. So add the back lighting, bring the front lighting up another 2 feet, and I'm also going to make a bulb change. Currently right now I've got the BR30s on the ends, and all the lighting in the front I'm using the A19 style for the Philips Hue, and they work very well, don't get me wrong, but the BR30s and the A19s both have their advantages and disadvantages. And I decided to try the A19s here in the front because with this light hanging straight down, I wanted a light that I could hide up inside the fixture itself and eliminate a lot of the direct lighting that you would see right here when you're running cars. Like you have on the ends, you've got that direct lighting over there. It's far enough away it's not an impact, but being right here could be extremely distracting. So the A19s work fantastic for hiding themselves inside the larger track heads. But that being said, the BR30s do produce better light, and it's more suited to what we're doing. So when I pull these lights forward, as you're sitting here working, the lights are going to be angled in, and that should eliminate any hot spots you would get from direct lighting. So the front lighting will be switched to the BR30 bulbs like I have on the ends of the layout, and you still won't have hot spots because it'll be over your head and they'll be angled in a little bit, and that'll be fine. The A19s that I have here in front, those will be better suited towards the back row for two reasons. One, they're going to be angled more straight down like this, and hiding the bulbs will be more effective, and they'll work real good right there, and it'll also reduce the amount of light that ends up on the back wall. So front lighting comes out, bulbs are changed to the BR30s, the A19s will be moved to the back row when they're installed, and we should be good to go, and that'll complete out the lighting system. Still yet another item that I'm going to need to address, and it'll probably have to be addressed almost immediately after completing the infill, outfill in these areas, is going to be right over here for the overpass section. And I need to get the substructure in place with the substructure for the retaining walls put into place, and decide exactly how I want to do the retaining walls and how I want to do the bridge itself. The section will probably be left as a removable section just in case I decide I need to get in there for something, and maybe to make landscaping directly underneath the bridge section a little bit easier. Shouldn't be a big deal, but the overpass section is something that's going to happen a little earlier than you would think in the landscape phase. And the main reason why is the position, the general layout of the retaining walls themselves is going to dictate what's going to happen with the fascia on the rear of the layout. So that is something that's definitely going to have to take place prior to starting the fascia. Okay, there's one more thing that I'm pretty excited about actually, that I do want to get done probably before the fascia, because it'll just be easier to implement. That's fine, but I want to talk about audio for a minute. And the audio, to me personally, is probably going to be as important, if not more important, than the lighting itself. That's what's really going to suck a person in and pull them into the environment and be very helpful. And there's quite a few phases to the audio system. And my objective here prior to starting landscaping and everything is going to be to get the audio into what I refer to as phase 2. And what phase 2 constitutes is, right now I've got the audio run off of the HDMI coming out of the audio is going to migrate into phase 3. And how that's going to work is, let's start with this here. These are some very small Bluetooth receiver chips that I ordered on Amazon. I think I paid $10 for 3 of them, and they work very well. And it's just a stereo Bluetooth receiver, and so I'm going to have 3 of those connected to a audio mixer. And for the audio mixer, I'm probably going to grab myself, I've been looking at the Behringer 1202. It has 4 stereo inputs with individual volume control, plus the 2-track in and out. It also has 4 mic preamps, so that should do everything I need and probably nothing else for the layout. And that will be installed probably down over here, so I want to make sure that's installed and up and running. All the audio from the wireless devices will be going to the Bluetooth modules fed directly into the mixer. And for the audio coming out of the Vim 3, you can get the audio direct out through USB. I'll go ahead and achieve that and get that run into the mixer as well. I'll also probably run a couple quality condenser microphones over the layout itself and get those into the mixer. And things like my lavalier mic or anything else can also be fed through the mixer. And that way, when we're doing videos of the track running and operating and all the systems are in place, you should have much better quality audio instead of just all the room sounds being picked up on a mic. You'll have dedicated microphones throughout for certain things, and you'll get the direct sound out from all the system sounds as it comes through the mixer. Audio quality should be much better. I'm going to stop at phase 2 for a little while and get the rest of the layout moving once we start the landscaping and stuff. But just a little future of what we're looking at phase 3. Phase 3 audio is going to replace the soundbar subwoofer setup with a full digital 5.1 surround, and everything is going to be spread way out into a very wide field type of audio system. And that's further going to enhance that stereo separation, and it'll be far out enough that anywhere in the room you'll be able to sense the separation and the presence of what's going on. And that'll be nice, and that'll be close to 1,000 watts. So it should be enough to shake the house, basically, which is what I'm after. And phase 4 is going to be a little bit different. Phase 4 of the audio is going to be smaller sound modules, and they're going to be controlled through the systems, and I'll probably have 4 to 6 modules buried here under the grandstands and to pick up crowd noise and things like that. Very small localized type of sounds. Somewhere in the pit area, one of the pit stalls is going to be dedicated to an activity, and I'll probably have some very low, small sound modules there just to provide some presence. Nothing you're really going to be able to pay attention to. But the sound modules will be reactive to race conditions. Starting, stopping, the crowds are going to go wild, the whole 9 yards. Even some of the localized public address announcements are going to be fed into the system, and you'll hear them come out of the grandstands, but you won't really be able to have any intelligibility, but it doesn't matter. It's there for scenic purposes only. It works very well. And there'll be some additional sound modules spread out, like maybe back over there might be a camping scene or something. A couple small sound modules, you know, just in a few spots throughout the layout. Nothing you're going to hear really, but if you're over on the back side of the layout, you're going to catch little sounds here, catch little sounds there, and it should work really well. So the audio itself is a really important thing, and there's going to also be some back audio, standard general environmental audio, things like early morning on a clear day, you're going to hear a lot of birds. You're not going to hear quite as many if it's pouring rain out, right? All that'll be active. Same thing with crickets, bugs at night, all that kind of stuff. So the environmental impact on the audio, that's all going to be built in as well. Okay, so that'll pretty much wrap up this particular episode. Just a quick recap. What I really need to do is I need to get the layout itself cleared, get all the items off of the layout and redistributed, relocated, and done what I need, including the race director's podium. I need to get the pit lane entrance for the safety car and set that up as a dedicated unit, which will be another video series here coming up very shortly. I need to complete the infill and outfill, and I need to get the yoga mat underneath the track in place. I need to finish the bridge and the overpass section and get that ready as well. I need to get the lighting installed. I need to get the audio system back into place, and then I'm ready to start fascia. And fascia, I'm going to use just standard 1/8" masonite all the way around. It'll probably come about 3 inches underneath the bottom of the joist, and the top will be level where it needs to be. And what I mean by that, I'm doing the flat earth thing, where I'm not going to have a raised edge or a raised lip around the layout. I'm going to just have the terrain go where it needs to go and just fall straight off the face of the earth. And having a ledge, lip, retaining wall, whatever you care to call it, it does have a lot of tremendous advantages, and the only reason why I'm choosing to do the flat earth concept here is strictly for aesthetics, and that's it, no other reason. I can't see a position where they're going to be required. Generally you do that on something like a model railroad layout where you have trains in close proximity to the edge, and a simple derailment could just let the cars tumble off and hit the floor. Here we're going to use the landscaping itself as well as guardrails to contain cars so they won't fly through the layout and hit the floor. So strictly for aesthetics, I'm going to go flat earth, and it should work pretty well. We'll see how that turns out, and that's something I'm excited to do. But the fascia itself is going to be the outer edge of the terraforming. So that's going to be an integral part of the terraforming, and I'll probably run a substrip underneath and then go ahead and run my fascia on top of that, and the substrip will be the landscape portion, and then the fascia will be just a dedicated cover to make it look nice and pretty. So we'll see how we're going to work through that as we go, but other than that, that's going to be an exciting stage. So the fascia is going to be the key point. When the fascia is complete, that means we're ready for terraforming and landscaping. So as you can see, we still got a lot of work to do, and it's a lot of hit and miss, sporadic. Going to be jumping around doing this, jumping around doing that. So like I say, please be mindful that the next round of videos that you're probably going to see are probably going to be very random or seemingly random, but there is a method to my madness, and we have to do certain things in certain orders to accomplish what we want to do. So that'll wrap up this episode of the Glendale 65, and once again, I'll wish everybody to have a wonderful weekend, and I thank you for all the comments and the subscriptions and the likes and everything. They really do mean a lot to me, and I just wish everybody to stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching.